When my kids arrived in Canada, I emailed their school. I didn't get a response, so I called the school and I said, I have so much going on. What should I put in my kids' bag? I don't know what I have to buy. And the school said, like what? What do you mean? I'm like, books, pencils. They're like, no, we provide everything. All you do is put water, juice, and their lunch or snacks in their bag, and we also provide some snacks. I'm like, what? They're like, yes, we provide every single thing. Now, I thought this was probably an exaggeration. Turns out my kids came home with pencils, markers, crayons, books, even textbooks. And I'm like, y'all can keep these texts. They're like, yeah, it's mine. Mister, when it's full, I can keep it. I'm like, if you misplace it, do I have to pay? They're like, no, you don't have to pay. A few weeks, or maybe the second week, they came home with winter jackets, snow pants, a whole bunch of stuff. The school wanted to give them a good welcome, and they realized that as newcomers they might not have appropriate wear. So from the donations that the school had, they decided to give the children stuff. Listen, we were so grateful, but I was also shocked at the same time, because back home the list for school items is so long. So I actually thought I had to call and get a list.
One of the things I love about living here in Calgary, Alberta, is the kindness of strangers. And when I talk about the kindness of strangers, I'm talking about the born and raised Calgarians, honey, not these transplants that just moved here from out west. No shade. But I love the kindness of, the strangers here. So tonight I went to the movies by myself. I go to the movies all the time, like once or twice a week. Like, this is a regular occurrence for me, but I did go a lot later than I typically would go, ever by myself especially. And today when I went, there was I didn't even park on the side of the theater that I typically park on. I parked on the opposite side, and then I was a lot further. Like, this is a whole recipe for me getting snatched up or something happening. Like, I was doing a lot of things out of the ordinary. But anyways, when I was walking out the theater, I took a photo. I was trying to take some photos, some like cute little low light photos outside the theater, which I had no business doing. Like, girl, pay attention when you're walking to your car late at night by yourself, and it's further away from the door. Not like I'm just lollygagging, no care in the world. And there's a guy and the girl that's like in front of me, but not like arm's distance. Like, they're way in front of me, but like I can see them, they can see me, and I'm walking behind them in kind of like I'm behind them, kind of. So it's funny because as I was like trying to take a picture outside the theater, not of myself, just like, the lights and stuff like that, the girl and guy that was in front of me, the girl, right before they like got right to their car, she stopped and she turned around and she's like, do you need help walking to your car? And like, I heard her, but like I'm still like computing what she said, and even before even finishing like realizing what she said, I'm like, pardon me? And she's like, do you need help walking to your car? It's late out. And I was like, oh, no, thank you. I appreciate it, though. Because my car was literally, like, just the next row over on the end, so it was fine. Like, they could see me. If they wanted to just sit there and watch me, they could just watch me walk to my car kind of thing. And I was like, no, thank you. Like, I appreciate you, though. And then she's like, no problem. And, like, they get in their car kind of thing. And I get in my car and I drive off. But, like, just that moment just made me feel so good, because I'm like, oh, that's so sweet that she's like, girl to girl, she's like, sees me walking by myself. It's late. It looks like I'm walking a bit further. And here she is, offering either herself up, her man, or the guy she's with, or just the both of them, making sure that I get to my car safe. And I just thought that was just so sweet. And these are normal occurrences that happen to me in Calgary. And it's something that I try not to take for granted. But like, it is one of the things I really love about the city, that like, there are so many just kind people in the city that I come across, just strangers that, are just kind and nice. I never experienced this kind of niceness when I travel to other places in the world. No shade, I've been to a lot of great places, but I don't receive that sort of, care for my neighbor, care for local citizens, like, care for my people that are strangers, in other cities like that, it don't be clicking. But I always experience that in Calgary, just strangers just being super kind and just looking out for you. And I thought that was just so sweet, and I just wanted to come on here and share that.
I moved here for very specific reasons. So if you are thinking about making the move to Alberta, Canada, check this video out. Number 5, sunshine. I chose Alberta because I knew it was one of the sunniest places in Canada. Here in Alberta, it's sunny 300 days a year. Number 4, there's no provincial sales tax. Big one for me was saving money wherever I can, so you'll only pay the 5% GST. Number 3, friendly people. I know everywhere in Canada is known to have friendly people, but I've noticed it here in Alberta so much. And it makes settling in so much easier. Number 2, nature and outdoor lifestyle. This one was a huge one for me, guys. Alberta is built around the outdoors. You've got the Rocky Mountains, lakes, hiking trails, skiing, camping, and it's all right on your doorstep. And this leads me on to number 1, guys, the Rocky Mountains. Places like Banff, Canmore, Jasper have all those places so close doesn't feel real sometimes. That kind of scenery just doesn't exist in the UK, and that was one of the main reasons that attracted me to Alberta. So guys, would you move to Alberta, or is there anywhere else in Canada that you think is better than Alberta? And give me the reasons why.
Tell me you have never been to Canada without telling me you've never been to Canada. Okay, number 1, the people are nice. People are kind. People are kind. When I moved to Montana 4 years ago, my DMs were filled with hate mail. Go back to where you came from. We don't want you here. Since coming to Canada on a tourist visa, my DMs are filled with messages from Canadians welcoming our family. Number 2, diversity. People from everywhere. People from India. People from various countries in Africa. And guess what? Canada embraces diversity a lot better than America. Okay. Number 3, our USD goes further here. That's right. Everything that I purchase is at a discount because our money goes further here. All right. Number 4, family friendly environment. When I tell you the amount of families here and the parks and recreations, the green spaces, the amount of summer camps that my kids can go to that we didn't have access to in Montana. Yes, absolutely, for real. Number 5, and really this probably should have been higher up on the list, but the nature, the beauty, the mountains, the lakes, all over. Various provinces have their own little nature points, but definitely the nature on the west side for sure is absolutely beautiful. I can't speak for the other side because I've never been, but BC, Alberta, beautiful landscapes. Yeah, so yeah, good try. But yes, you should try visiting Canada before you put stuff on the internet.
One of the main reasons why I love Canada so much, and I will always love Canada, and I think I will always feel a little bit more comfortable in Canada than I do in France, is the fact that Canada on a lot of social issues is way more liberal than France is. And we are way further in that movement than France is. And it's interesting because that's always been my lived experience, and I've always shared it with people both in Canada and in France, and I don't always get a positive response. But my comment section confirms this. Don't get me wrong, misogyny, sexism lives everywhere in the world. There's no denying that. But I really have noticed such a shift when posting content in France and in French. So I posted a video a couple days ago where I basically talked about the fact that I haven't recovered from the fact that France lost the World Cup football final in 2022 against Argentina. If you know, you know. And I got comments like this one. Oh, can you even name the 11 starting players for the Argentinian team without looking it up on the internet, basically, is what the comment says. I got another comment saying, oh, we're not upset about the World Cup final because we don't watch football only every 4 years. I hate that I have to justify myself. I am a huge football fan. I will follow the French national team anywhere that they go. So I try to go see almost all competitions. Every time I'm in France, I go see a game. But not only that, I'm an Arsenal fan. I watch club football every weekend, or most weekends. And again, this is not me justifying myself, but this is just me saying and proving the point that I would never get a comment like this in Canada from my Canadian audience. Or at least I don't think that I would. But as soon as I land in France, I get all this type of comments. And let's just do better. Let's do better. But also, this is why I love my Canadians. And I also wanted to share this because Canadians don't realize this. They don't realize how lucky they are. So anyways, thank you, Canada.
One thing that I loved about my Canadian husband that I believe comes from Canadian culture and values was his modesty and his humility. Growing up in Mexico, where social classes are very rigid, I got to see the impact that has on people and how people will dedicate their entire existence to appearances. It normalizes flexing, bragging, greed, and it's something that growing up I found so exhausting. I definitely noticed a difference in Canada. I feel like here is not that celebrated to brag, to flex. Like, you can have nice things, you can work hard, you can enjoy your money, but once you start shoving it down people's throats or making it the whole point of your life, people will usually look down on that. Now that I'm a mom, I love that my kids will grow up in this environment as opposed to a place where you're rewarded for flexing, for bragging, for getting into huge amounts of debt just to make it seem like you can afford a certain lifestyle or make it seem like you've accomplished a lot. And of course, there's always going to be the odd person out, but I do believe that that behavior is not going to be supported by the community as a whole. And I love this about Canadian culture.
As a Brit living in Canada, this always catches me off guard. Let me show you. And that is baskets, like flowers. So in England, we would have flowers like this, but they just would not be as impressive, even on the side of the road. You know, just look how they go to town. Is this just an Ontario thing? Or is this in the whole of Canada, where you guys will have flowers and things in all of the town centre? Please let me know, guys. And as always, take care of yourselves. I'll see you soon.
Hello, folks. Welcome back again to to my channel. And if you're watching me for the first time, please feel welcomed. And because here is where we break down the real truth, which most of the people are very afraid to talk about. So, folks, there is something about Canada that becomes harder to explain the longer you look at it. At first, it seems obvious. The mountains, the lakes, the cities, the endless landscapes. You look at Canada and you immediately understand why people want to visit. But then you look a little closer, and that's when things are getting interesting. Because one thing is for sure, Canada has a strange way of making the obvious feel different. A place that looks incredible in a photograph somehow feels even better when you are actually there, personally, physically. A quiet street that feels memorable. I mean, a simple conversation can stay with you for years. in your lifetime even. And a completely ordinary moment can suddenly become the part of the trip you remember for years. That's not something you can put on a travel book. And maybe that's why Canada has developed this reputation that goes beyond scenery. There's a certain calmness to it, a certain confidence. It doesn't feel like it's desperately trying to prove something. It just exists. And somehow, people notice. Think about the image of Canada most of the world already knows. The maple leaf, the red and white, the Rockies, the cold winters, even the big cities. But Canada is much bigger than the postcard version. There are communities with completely different personalities. There are cultures, accents, traditions, even food, neighborhoods, and stories that can make part of Canada feel completely different from another. And that's where the country starts to become fascinating. Because you realize Canada isn't one experience, it's thousands of experiences sitting next to each other. And maybe, just maybe, that's why people keep discovering new reasons to appreciate Canada. One person falls in love with the landscape, another becomes obsessed with the cities. I mean, someone else remembers the food, someone remembers the music, someone remembers a conversation they have had with a complete stranger. Someone remembers standing somewhere quiet and realizing that, wow, I'm actually here. Different reasons, same country. And that's another thing I find fascinating. In world where everybody is competing to be louder, faster, and even bigger, and another maybe dramatic, Canada often seems to have an entirely different energy. It doesn't always need to shout. Sometimes the quietness is the statement, and sometimes the space is the luxury. Sometimes, let me say this, the simplicity is what makes the experience unforgettable. And that might explain why Canada can surprise people. You arrive looking for one thing and end up appreciating something you weren't even thinking about. That's when a destination becomes more than a destination. It becomes a feeling, and a feeling are different to leave behind. Feelings are very difficult to leave behind. You can leave a country, you can board the plane, you can unpack the suitcase, you can go to the normal routine. But remember, every now and then, something reminds you of that place. A photograph, maybe a song, a conversation you had with a stranger, the smell. I mean, and suddenly you're back there. That's the kind of connection no advertisement can manufacture. It has to happen naturally. And maybe that's why Canada continues to fascinate people. Not because it's perfect, no country is. Not because every visitor has the same experience, but because there always seems to be another layer waiting to be discovered. You've seen the Canada from the postcards. You've seen the Canada from travel videos. But there is another Canada, the one you only understand after you have spent time there, personally, physically. And honestly, that's the Canada I'm very interested in. Because, let me say this, the most interesting stories aren't always finding in the landmarks. Sometimes they are hiding in the smallest details. So let me ask you something, family. If you had if you had to show someone the real Canada without taking them to a famous tourist attraction, where will you take them? A neighborhood, a small town, or a restaurant, maybe a hockey game, a quiet lake, or somewhere nobody outside Canada has ever heard of? Tell me, because I have a feeling the answers might reveal something about Canada no postcard could. And that's exactly where we are heading. So, let me know what you think about this in the comment sections.